Hello, master people, Skyok here. Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. We have on the launch pad, on the pinprick launch vehicle with a small bit of oomph on the bottom still, our first satellite we will be sending into orbit. So, let's get that going right off the bat. Okay. This launcher has worked out really well for us so far, and I'd like to develop one very similar in the 1.25 meter class, so we can send up significantly larger payloads. The fact that I managed to fit this payload on here, and this is more or less capable of orbit, is amazing, kind of. Yeah, it's just pretty much amazing. And the fact that we can manage over 1 G of acceleration to this entire thing is again testament to how awesome it is. It's just such a nice rocket. Off into the great black void. Okay. Line that back up. Throttle back a smidge. Apoapsis at 53. We are doing really well. 58. This is basically serving as my reference point because this is about the 70 kilometer point. Okay, we're looking for about 72, 73 as per usual. So we're trying to pick up lateral velocity here. Okay, that is, we are right on an equatorial orbit. This one isn't on a perfectly planar orbit. This, however, should be on a planar orbit, so we will sit back. We have a lot of fuel left, so we'll see how that goes. Hop up to 70 here. Now the thing is, do I try and go for a slightly less efficient maneuver? Or do I try and go for the most efficient maneuver? Probably the most efficient, but time is a factor here. Okay. So there's one more thing I need to do before I fire the engines. Get some spin going here. Get those off. Get that back. Alright. We can fire the engines. And I may have timed that a little less than perfectly, but I guess we have extra fuel. Come on. Fuel is this thing barely has enough, so fuel is definitely a finite resource here. Okay, 71, 234. It's not exactly what I had anticipated or wanted, but okay, that's on that. Seeing as we are at Periops, We can use the rest of our fuel. We're not going to be putting this thing anywhere else. We can use right there. Bring this down to a more reasonable orbit. Please still have solar panels in the sun. Good. So not much fuel left, but we are in orbit. And mission time, 6 minutes. Cool beans. Alright, so we should have a fair bit of electric charge in here. I think we have 200, or what's, it should just be up here, 360. And yeah, 4, it's 80, I don't know where the extra charge is coming from actually. 4 mini packs at 20 pop, that's 80, plus 200, that's 280 by my count. There isn't any other things that store charge, I'm a little confused. At any rate, that's that. This is our first communication satellite. It'll probably be dead on the other side of the planet. So I'm kind of hoping with at least, I'm hoping that it can survive with the omnidirectional fine, no problem. Which it looks like. I'm really hoping that it'll be able to survive with a should be gathering charge still. Yep. I'm really hoping that it'll be able to survive with a... There we go. Get back up to periaps here. Line up on the... Burn the rest of the fuel to see we can... We're at 70.9. I have a little bit of monopropellant. Okay. Okay, perfect. I can actually enter that. Yep, they even pushed that. Awesome. So now I can jettison that. I don't need that anymore. And I still have control of the craft. Not as nice of control. But I do have these little monopropellant engines, which I can use if I hit H, I believe. Yep. So we can fine-tune our orbit to something that is, say, 72 by 72. Or this is 70.9. We'll just go with that. Okay. And give this a bump. 70.7, 70.9. 70.9, 70.9. That's dang close. That's more than enough for me. I like nice circular orbits, and this one definitely has it, and we have lots of monoprop left if we need to make a slight change. The next thing, I need patched conics. I need to be able to plot courses. Upgrading that shit. Alright, next thing from here. So we need to start a communications network. And we need to go into and find, I'm starting the Sentinel rocket series. Sentinel Com Set. and load that up. These rockets aren't particularly expensive. Only about 17,000 a pop. I mean, which isn't cheap. But anyway, so what we are planning on doing is putting a communication satellite in Kerbal synchronous orbit, which is approximately about 2,800,000 some odd. 2,800,000 some odd units out, or meters out. So that is next, and resume flight. It's map mode. So we will be taking off in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. This thing kind of takes off like a shot. It has plenty of delta V as long as it's managed correctly. Not much of, very minimal problems getting to orbit, and it has this weird oscillation problem. Excuse me. It's just the way I have the inner stage set up in here, and that pretty much goes away once I drop the solid rocket boosters. Alright. So if I do that, oh, they must have exploded. Anyway, this oscillation hasn't gotten, in my testing, it hasn't gotten to a point where it's too bad. It is a little freaky though, and this would destroy any normal rocket. But this is KSP. It's not normal. So, try to force myself onto a course. There we go. Start a gravity turn. I'm using a fairing. These prestigial fairings that are included in the game now are different for me. So we'll see how that goes. I don't think the oscillations as a result of the fairing. It's not nice smooth fairing like we've been used to before. So I'm trying my best here. Once we drop this stage here in a second, everything kind of settles down. There we go. So, how are we doing on the map? App-waps. Okay. It's about where we want. We don't have much for reaction wheels. So it's very slow turns, at least until we drop this second stage. So I'm just going to be keeping AG here, going at about 30% throttle, which isn't really a thing in normal rockets, but we're just going to pretend it is. So yeah. Okay. And then okay, still at about 109. We can drop this fairing. Boom. Here is our satellite. Has 4 communication system on it. 2 of it are redundant. Lots of nice little solar panels. And so I'm gonna attempt to rotate toward where I'm gonna need to be. I want to focus on the satellite. Whatever. Slow turns. Okay. Now just kind of, we're going to do this from map view now. I want to switch to the satellite. Why can't I switch to my satellite? Switch to. Okay. Well, at least I can see my timetail periapse now. Or apoapse. We don't have a periapsis yet. So we're just gonna chase the burn around. I don't have maneuver nodes yet, which is unfortunate. But it's gonna kind of line this up. We're also gonna set this. Our main target will be mission control, and we'll activate it. And close the antenna configurator. There it is, that was burnout. That's about what I expected. Third stage. This is the one that gets us into orbit and plops our periapse way, or apoapse way the heck out there. Okay, we've achieved orbit now. So I'm going to have this burn for a bit of the ways. In fact, I did this less elegantly than I should have. Okay, we might have to do a few orbits in order to get this to work. 2, 8, 6, 8, 7. I'm trying to remember exactly what it is. 2, 8, 6, 8, 7. 2, 8, 6, 8, 700 something meters. 2, 8. Close enough for right now. And we might have to make a few orbits. But in the meantime, I will rotate this vessel so that it will always have a solar panel pointing at the sun. So I'll rotate it to the normal position. I believe that's normal. We'll even rotate a little bit more. So it's more solar panels. Now we will probably lose comms. We have lost comms, alright. But we might have to make a few orbits. And we'll pick our time, hopefully wisely, so that we end up right on top of the Space Center with this thing. Alright. Start the orbits. Okay, I don't have communications, I can't burn there. Try again, we'll go out again. I may have communications this time. I did activate it, right? Yeah, set mission control inactive. I have electric charge. Must not be at an angle we can handle. Maybe it's because of where the dish is pointed. It's not in the cone. Okay. Should definitely have comms here. We have electric charge. And yes, we have comms, it's just the thing isn't showing up. Okay. That's not where I want it. A few more orbits. Don't have comms out here. I think this might be the one we want. Take it, go slow. I'm gonna have a quick save in case I accidentally shoot past it. Okay. I am now going to turn towards the the prograde marker. And going to now do a nope, not yet. Not yet. We will adjust the orbit into a nice, almost perfect one here. Almost a perfect Kerbal synchronous orbit. There we go. Oh, because we weren't switched to the vessel. That's why. I just want to get nice and lined up. Okay. Now start the burn. We have a pretty good line here. We're not going to have much drift for a long time. I'm going to catch up to the point again. This is just a matter of fiddling. Okay, got a line right back up on it. Okay, that's fine, that's completely fine. And then we activate our RCS and trim the orbit using H. 2868, 2869, close enough. Alright, there's our first communication satellite. I'm going to put it into a nice vertical. No, not this way. Orientation for right now, even though, I mean, it doesn't matter if the dishes is pointed one way or another. We have plenty of fuel to do more fidgety stuff with this if we wanted. But I have plenty of batteries on here. I have 600 charge, so just to prove that we will have constant communications, it should have enough charge to pass through the shadow of Kerbal. Well, not quite, but very close. So we will get a more permanent setup up here because we will have 4 of them. We will have another one in view. In between those two, we will be fine. So thank you for watching, Master People. Next episode, I will have 4 more up here, or 3 more up here, and I will see you in the next episode. See you later, Master People.